Welcome back.
Well, a good afternoon to everyone, and welcome back to Lords.
T20 here.
We're about to see the third match of the day of this T20
Just a reminder
Services
that the
Day, and
won
this
the
match
first
will be the
they set
culmination of the Inter-Services tournament
between the Navy, and the Royal Navy
Army
failed to make that
and the Royal Air Force.
Lost by 43
Earlier today
runs.
we saw the
We've
Army
just seen history in the
defeat
making,
the Navy,
the first ever women's military side invited to play here on the main pitch at Lords. The UCAF putting on an incredible display, and they were set 115 by the MCC side, and they made that with 8 balls to spare, with Mel Vaggers on her 40th birthday making the winning runs. But here's the final. We've got the Army against the Royal Air Force. The Royal Air Force, of course, beating the Royal Navy on Tuesday night. They set a target of 168, which the Royal Navy failed to make, and the Army get underway. They chose to bat, having won the toss.
Stump is played at by Barley, but he makes no contact, and it goes through to the keeper. So the Army used to the conditions today. The pitch has played quite well, as Barley is out, and loud applause around the ground from the Royal Air Force supporters. The middle stump is pegged back.
I'm not sure quite what happened.
He was clean bowled, but it was slightly odd because he tried to play it on the leg side.
Yes.
And one thought the ball might be going down, but as I say, the middle stump is pegged back, and well, what a start.
Commentator's curse again.
Indeed, yes. Yes, we just praised him for his performances in the first match, but here comes the batter who was perhaps the star performer in the first match, Tad Carmichael, making his way to the wicket rather earlier than he might have expected or even hoped for, but a superb start for the Air Force. A wicket down with just the second ball of the match, and it's Shorthouse who is the successful bowler. Barley bowled Shorthouse without troubling the scorers.
I think it was actually a slower ball that perhaps he just played too quickly through, and I think that's what made him miss it completely. Almost.
Yes, certainly unexpected. So we've got 4 fielders on the offside, all saving the one, as Shorthouse bowls to Carmichael, who pushes carefully forward, and it goes back to the bowler. And we have 4 on the leg side, which include 2 on the boundary at deep mid-wicket and a wide long on, as Carmichael goes back and plays that down the ground to that long on fielder, who runs in, picks the ball up, and they take an easy single to get the scoreboard moving. 1 for 1. So the leg side now slightly strengthened, as Shorthouse bowls to Fletcher, who drives that one down to deep mid-on, and they take an easy single. He's off the mark off his first ball. 2 for 1 is the score. Scoring today, we saw the Army get 170 odd in the first match, as that one is pushed back to the bowler by Carmichael, and there is no run. So a good first over by Shorthouse, and it's 2 for 1 at the end of the first over.
Yes, an excellent first over. What a start. What a start. Ideal batting conditions now, I suppose. 28 degrees, sun baking down.
Yes, it's a warm day. We've had some cloud today, but and there is a little bit of light cloud in the sky, but Lords looks absolutely beautiful, and it's nice to see a good crowd in. The support today for the teams has been very enthusiastic, and the bowler now from the pavilion end is going to be Pearce, Sergeant Pearce, who played quite an influential role in the game last Tuesday between the Navy and the Air Force. Took a couple of wickets in the last over. As that one is a wide to open his bowling down the offside, signalled by the umpire at the pavilion end. Pearce goes back to his mark. left arm, medium fast, bowls and pushed back to the bowler by Fletcher. No run. 4 saving the one on the offside, a deep cover, and 3 saving the one on the leg side with a deep square leg against the mound stand. As that one is pushed out towards point by Fletcher. No run. So a little bit of consolidation now from the Army after the early loss of Barley. 3 for 1. And Pearce runs in again. Bowls outside the off stump. It's played out into the offside, into the covers by Fletcher. Picked up there, and there is again no run. So Fletcher looking carefully at the bowling. But certainly the Army approach in the first game was very aggressive, and it'll be interesting to see if they repeat that in this match. Fletcher rather plays that one out again, and that goes out to deep cover, and there is an easy single. 4 for 1. The Air Force's confidence will be up after their win against the Navy,
yes.
In which
they seem to be on their toes on the fielding, attacking every ball as it comes to them in the field. It's noticeable.
it's a difficult day for them, isn't it? Because they've had no cricket and they start at 4:30.
Yeah.
People often talk about finals day in the T20, about how it's better to be playing in the first match, as that one strikes Carmichael on the pad. Some interest from the fielding side, but not reciprocated by the umpire. And you know, you have to just decide what you're going to do during the day before you actually get out onto the field. So they're certainly up for it now after that long wait.
Acclimatized to the warm weather.
And that one, Pearce tries to drive outside the off stump, doesn't make any contact. So a good over from Pearce, just the one wide to put a bit of a blot on it, but only 2 runs conceded, including that wide, and it's 4 for 1 after 2 overs.
Yes, a good over by Pearce. He had the batsman flashing outside the off stump on more than one occasion. So good bowling, good bowling.
In fact, we have a change of bowling after the first over, so Shorthouse, after that successful opening over, has come off, which I find slightly surprising, but you do see this tactic sometimes of giving bowlers 1 over spells,
yes,
which always strikes me as a little bit counterintuitive, but there we go. The new bowler is Hawke.
yes.
John Hawke, who is an aircraft mechanic, plays in the Hampshire Cricket League. That one, his first ball is turned on the leg side by Fletcher. They'll be coming back for a couple of runs there. 2 runs, 6 for 1. And Hawke also plays for Odiham and Greywell Cricket Club. Based at RAF Odiham, so Hampshire man through and through. That
Well
one was
fielded.
hit hard by Fletcher, where it's fielded by Shorthouse in the covers. Straight to him, no run. 6 for 1. An early wicket has just put a little bit of caution into the scoring rate. Hawke bowls full ball. It's very well stopped by Hawke there in his follow through. Diving stop. Stops the ball deviating at all, and there is again no run. Hawke bowls to Fletcher, who hits that one hard down to mid-on. run an easy single. And the score goes up to 7. Fletcher is on 5.
Again, getting through the overs very quickly. Hawke in particular is not giving the batsman much time to settle at all.
It'll be interesting to see how the Air Force cope with the left-right combination.
Yeah.
We saw the Navy struggling a little bit in that big partnership between Carmichael and Wiseman. That one is down the leg side and it's called wide by the umpire. Carmichael would have liked to have deposited that in the tavern stand, I think. So he takes guard again. And Hawke bowls a full, very full ball outside the off stump this time. Carmichael again plays an extravagant shot, but it goes through to the keeper.
And he's set an offside field, so he needs to bowl it on the offside. The previous delivery had drifted onto the leg side.
And that one is a lovely shot by Carmichael through mid-wicket. Very well timed indeed. No one needed to move for that. And it's the first boundary of the innings. So at the end of 3 overs, it is 12 for 1 wicket.
The RAF seem to be full of confidence. Their attitude in the field is very sharp.
Certainly, I think they'll be looking for early wickets. That must be the key to contain this strong Army batting lineup. Both batsmen on 5. Now Pearce, in fact, is going to resume from the pavilion end. Left arm runs in, bowls. Is that going to go for 6? Yes, it is. Yes, the fielder was interested for a little while, but it was a fine shot by Fletcher there and went well over his head into amongst the spectators in the mound stand, who run back, and they are going to find the ball very efficiently there, 2 of them working together.
Yes, he picked that up really early, that one.
Yep. And they must take advantage of this boundary, mustn't
yes,
they?
short boundary there.
Really one of the keys to getting a good score in this match.
Indeed.
Pearce bowls outside the off stump, and they're not having much luck making contact with balls outside the off stump so far. That one again goes through to the wicketkeeper. 18 for 1. Fletcher now on 11. Pearce runs in. It's a good drive down the ground, but straight to mid-off, and no chance of a single there. Well fielded and thrown into the keeper. And the ball makes its way back to the bowler, Pearce. Bouncing back from that 6 with a better delivery. He runs in. Bowls to Fletcher, who hits that one, doesn't seem to get all of it, but it's running away down towards fine leg. The fielder runs back, picks it up left-handed, well before the boundary, throws it back in, and they get a couple of runs to take the score to 20 for 1, and Fletcher moves on to 13. Hit by Pearce into the covers, straight to the fieldsman. Bounces off him, but doesn't go away very far. And again, there is no run from that shot. So 20 for 1 off 3.5 overs. 1 ball to go in this 4th over. There's an attempt there to turn it through mid-wicket, but it strikes Fletcher on the pad. There's no run, so 20 to 1 at the end of 4 overs.
A better over there for the Army, 8 runs off it, and a couple of very nice shots which just happened to go straight to the fielders, but I think you could see the intent from Fletcher and Carmichael.
Both batsmen playing with confidence.
Yes.
Trusting their shots. Now, this is going to be the start of the 5th over. Hawke is going to resume. 1 over for 8 runs so far. Right arm bowler. That's a fine shot again by Carmichael. Diving attempt to stop it by the fielder there at extra cover, but he doesn't succeed and the ball runs away for 4. The fielder has to find a way to retrieve that. It goes down to the unguarded area, and indeed unspectated area. Down the scoreboard down at this end of the ground. And 4 runs, and certainly Carmichael's intent very clear.
Yeah.
He's on to 9 off just 8 deliveries. Looks a class act. Here comes Hawke. Again, he plays the most beautiful on drive, off drive rather there. Past the fielder.
That was
bit off.
Super shot.
Fine shot.
Straight drive past the bowler.
Very agreeable to watch. So 2 boundaries off the first 2 deliveries of this over. Captain comes over and has a quick word with the bowler. Bat raised, Carmichael faces again. That one he just edges out. It doesn't go very far on the offside, but the fielder has to run in, and there was an agreed single. They ran that one very quickly and easily home. So it's 29 for 1 now, and we're halfway through the 5th over. Fletcher comes back on strike. Carmichael's gone to 14. Bit of a change in the field. Cover going out to the boundary and square leg coming in.
Yeah, the 5-4 offside field.
Hawke reports his run up, but comes in again now. Calls to Fletcher, who carves that one out on the offside. To point by the umpire. No run. And another change in the field. In fact, they're reversing what they just did, with square leg now going out to the boundary. Hawke runs in. That one is turned on the leg side this time, into the mid-wicket area. Well fielded, there is no run. So as we've said before, the RAF very enthusiastic. Keep these runs down. That one is hit uppishly down the ground. It's not going to be 4. Mid-on runs round, and they can only get a single there. Good bit of work by Chapman there.
Yes, another example of the sharp fielding there, because I think the Army would have thought that they could easily take 2 off that, and a very quick return by the fielder, who had to run some distance to get to the ball, but they only managed to get a single.
Yes, so that's 30 for 1 off 5 overs. We're going to now have a change of bowling at the pavilion end. It's going to be Burnett. Tom Burnett, based at RAF Bryce Norton, who's a medium fast bowler playing for Warkworth in Northumberland, where I was on holiday last year. I can tell you that it's a lovely place. And he bowls wide outside the off stump, and the umpire duly signals that as a wide.
Bit of a loosener.
Yeah, we were talking about waiting to play all day, and if bowling is your strong suit, it must be difficult. As you see, bowlers often do have a difficulty bowling here for the first time, and can be hard getting used to the slope. So Burnett runs in, good assertive run up, full ball, turned onto the leg side. I think that's gone for 6. Yes, it has.
Yeah.
Yep. Lovely shot into the tavern by Fletcher. That's the second time he's aimed in that area. Got hold of that very quickly.
Yes, it wasn't necessarily such a bad ball. The batsman just picked it up very early. It's a very short boundary there, and just connected very well.
Yeah, if you middle it, it will go for 6, won't it? So Burnett tries again. That's full. It's hit into the covers by Fletcher, and they get a single. Well run. So quite a recovery going on by the Army now. They were 0 for 1 in the first over. They're now 38 for 1. And we've had 2 balls of the 6th over. Carmichael is back on the strike. Fletcher's moved on to 21 from just 20 deliveries. Carmichael has 14 from 10. Bat raised, faces up to Burnett. Drives that one out to the leg side. It's fielded on the mid-wicket boundary. A single again to the score. 39 for 1. Field changing over for the right-handed Fletcher. Members in the pavilion. I think there are more members in the pavilion now than there were earlier on in the day, so that's a great sign that they've come in to watch some cricket. As Burnett bowls outside the off stump, Fletcher has a bit of a heave at that one. Doesn't make any contact, and it goes through to the keeper. Ball now back to the bowler. Shadows beginning to encroach upon the ground, but the light is absolutely perfect at the moment. Great day for playing cricket. Burnett. And that one is a fine shot indeed by Fletcher. Stand and deliver, really. The length of that ball was just perfect for him to just help it on its way, really. Or in a slightly different direction, but help it on its way. Over the mid-wicket boundary for another 6. So he's now hit 3 maximums in his 27. 45 for 1. Last ball of the over. Burnett bowls, that's edged. He's very lucky there. It runs away for 4. Yeah. And that's unfortunate for Burnett, who's ended up with a rather expensive over, conceding 19 runs.
Yeah.
But such is the nature of cricket. 49 for 1 off 6 overs, so they're going at something over 8 runs and over. Very good start indeed for the Army. Fletcher's on 31. Carmichael is on 15. I shall now make way for Jim Worden to come in, and Avinash will continue with commentary.
Yes, the Army will be very happy with this this score. They really are batting aggressively. The bowling hasn't necessarily been all that bad, but they are connecting very well with the ball. Ideal conditions for batting. Nearly 30 degrees Celsius, the temperature. And it's going to be short house from the nursery end. Right arm slow bowler. And that ball is played by Carmichael onto the onside. There is no run. Hello, Tim.
Afternoon, Avinash.
In comes short house again. They need to get some control on this, and he's doing that. 2 tight balls, which the batsmen have found it difficult to score off, because the runs in the last 3 overs have been coming in a bit too freely for the RAF's liking. Short house again. Shorter ball this time, which is picked up quickly, and that's 4 runs into the short mid-wicket boundary.
He hit that one very hard. The fielders were never going to get close to that. Absolutely thumped it.
Yeah. That's the 50 up, 53 now. This next ball is launched into the air. It's not going to make it to the boundary, and they take a single. So the right-handed Fletcher will come on strike. So the field changes around. 2 men now on the leg side boundary towards the grandstand, mid-wicket and square leg, and that ball is driven onto the offside, where the fielder from long on comes in. There's a slight fumble which encourages the batsman to go for 2, which they managed to get. Fletcher is 33 not out of just 24 deliveries. Carmichael is 20 of 15. The score is 56 for 1. Next ball is played out onto the offside, and there is no run. That is the end of the 7th over.
Yeah, it was a tidy over from Shorthouse. He gets through his overs quickly. He's one of those bowlers who hustles along, gets the batsman, moves them along before they have a chance to settle in and score runs. But 2 overs for 9. That wicket in the first over as well. He's done well for the RAF here, who need to try and contain the Army. Their run rate's up at 8 now, 8 and over, which is pretty strong given the batting they've got to come as well. And these two looking quite well set. So we're going to see a change of bowler by the look of it at the pavilion end.
Watson coming in from that end. I think he's another slow bowler.
Looks like a relatively short run-up. Agreed. Got the 2 men out on the leg side boundary to the left-hander Carmichael.
So this is Sergeant Ash Watson, and that ball is pulled out onto the offside, leg side rather, by the left-hander, and they get 2 runs. Not a particularly good delivery, but it is his first ball, so I suppose the nerves of playing here at Lord's, it can't be easy. He's based at RAF Leeming. He's taken a hat-trick in the past against the Army in this tournament in 2018, and this next ball is played down the leg side and very well fielded by the fielder at short leg.
Yeah, it was coming pretty quick. He's shaking his hands because it was stinging from stopping that one.
Yeah. In comes Watson, left arm round the wicket, and that ball is cut out onto the offside. 4 runs to that short boundary by the mound stand.
It was a vicious hit. I mean, the fielder only had to move 3 metres to his left, but couldn't get there in time.
No.
It was travelling so quickly.
Yeah, these two are both hitting the ball very hard. Carmichael on strike. He has a slightly open stance. This next ball, he didn't know much about it, was just ended up hitting it out on the offside. Didn't quite time it, and they take a quick single. 63 for 1. Fletcher on 33. Carmichael 27. And this next ball is played out onto the onside. Fielder from mid-wicket comes in and fields. They take a single.
There's a collision there between the non-striker and the bowler, as the bowler tried to field, but ended up not mattering.
Left-handed Carmichael on strike. Absolutely went for that one, but the timing wasn't there and there's no run. Just picked up by the fielder, by the bowler.
Yeah, he's telling himself off for missing that one because it did sit up quite nicely off the pitch. And he practices the shot in both directions before going to have a conference with Fletcher. I wonder what they're saying to each other. Probably race you to 50, see who gets there first.
So 64 for 1 after 8 overs. They're going at exactly 8 and over. 12 overs still left. They had a bit of a conference to plan the way forward. It's going to be Shorthouse continuing from the nursery end, and that ball bounced up. Batsman didn't know much about it, just went out onto the offside, and there is no run. In comes Shorthouse again. Nice looping action. Ball is played out onto the onside, and they take a single. Again, the field needs to adjust for the left-hander coming on strike, Carmichael, who hits the ball very hard. And he does play that out onto the offside, hit straight to the fielder, so only the single.
Yeah, he hit that one firmly, but there's a long enough boundary up the hill with enough fielders to save the fall.
Advances on to the next ball and doesn't manage to get any runs. 66 for 1. Fielder at backward point, cover point. This next ball is driven out onto the onside, where the fielder from long on comes in. Fletcher was keen for a second one, but quite rightly sent back by his batting partner. So the left-handed Carmichael on strike, and the bowler comes over the wicket. Deceived in the flight there, he hit the ball, it didn't go anywhere, just looped up in the air, and there's no run.
Yeah, Shorthouse has been the pick of the bowlers for the RAF so far. He's really contained these 3 overs for 12. Conceding runs at half the rate of the team average. Very good. And sadly for the RAF, he's only got 1 over left before he's bowled out. I suspect they'll bowl him through and make the most of having him in the groove at the moment.
Yes. There's always that decision to make as to whether you keep a good bowler going or save him for the end. Watson it is from the pavilion end. That's in the air, that's going to be caught.
Yes.
And Fletcher goes out.
Very good catch there. He top-edged it. It was a full toss. He was trying to whack over the short boundary, and the fielder had half an eye on the ball itself and half an eye on the boundary rope. So he wanted to make sure he didn't tread over the boundary rope or touch it as he took the catch, and did a very good job of juggling those 2 priorities and took the catch just a few inches inside that boundary. That's the breakthrough the RAF needed.
So I think Fletcher batted well for his 38, 36. Bit of a recovery after being 2 for 1. A good partnership between those two. And Wiseman now comes to bat.
It's the bad news for the RAF. Wiseman comes into bat having made an aggressive 40-odd in the first game against the Navy.
Yeah.
And to join Carmichael, his partner in crime from that, where they put on close to 100, I think, didn't they, between the two of them?
So they're 2 very strong batters at the wicket now. And one of them is well set with 28 from 22 deliveries. And in fact, the new batsman will not be on strike, because that was the Carmichael cuts this out onto the offside. There's a diving attempt to stop the boundary, but not successful. 4 runs. He goes on to 32.
I feel slightly sorry for the RAF there. They ended up with 2 fielders sprawled on the ground and the ball still going over the rope. It was a firmly hit blow from Carmichael. Well placed. It's a combination of power and placement, which is impressive.
Yeah. Watson again, left arm round the wicket, and that ball is pulled down the leg side. That's going to be 4 runs, no chance. You cannot drift down the leg side.
There's not much margin for error bowling it to Carmichael at the moment. You've really got to put it on the spot, on the right line. The mood he's in.
He is now 36 not out. Score 75 for 2. We're in the 10th over. So we're looking at a big total here. And next ball is played out into the covers, where it's fielded and no run. Carmichael waits as Watson comes in and drives it straight past the bowler on the offside, and they take a single to long off.
Yeah, that was a very leisurely single. They weren't going to take on the second. Could have had 2 there if they'd gone quickly, but my impression is they prefer the boundaries.
So Wiseman is going to be on strike for the first time, and he's taking his guard from the umpire. And Watson it is who's going to come around the wicket to bowl at him. And that's going to be 6 runs.
What a way to get off the mark.
Yeah. 6 runs into the mound stand before you even knew it. He really picked that up very quickly and very early and absolutely smashed it.
Well, that's a statement of intent. He didn't hesitate there. That went a long way. 6 off his first ball.
They're clearly looking to resurrect their partnership from the other game.
Yeah, it's a staggering first shot. So 82 off 10 overs. So you're looking at 170 plus as your target at this stage, you would think. And that would be a formidable total for the RAF to have to try and chase down. Question is, how do you try and contain these two? Because it took a little while to get going. Now they're off, and they're not going to have a change of bowler. So Shorthouse is being kept back for an over.
Yes.
And Patel.
So new bowler coming in, another slow bowler, slow right arm bowler coming in from the nursery end. Avish Patel, Flight Lieutenant Avish Patel, engineering officer, based at RAF Leeming.
Well, he's a brave man coming on to bowl to Carmichael with a short boundary on the leg side, with him in this sort of mood. Just see how he goes.
In he comes now with his first ball, nicely flighted, but that is smashed out onto the offside, straight to the fielder on the ropes, otherwise that would have been 4 runs.
Yeah, he's taking a bit of dust from the pitch to try and give himself a bit of grip on his hands. Obviously hot work out there.
Yeah, the hands get sweaty in these conditions. His claim to fame is they took 5 wickets against Oxford in a varsity match. In he comes again. Flights it up nicely again. Ball is pushed out into the covers, and they scamper through for a quick single.
It suggests he's played here before in that case, if he's played in the varsity match, so his debut at Lords necessarily.
So Carmichael, the left-handed Carmichael, in an aggressive mood, is on 38 not out, 84 for 2. Facing, in he goes, and again that's smashed for 6 runs into the mound stand.
It's another huge 6. He's really not in the mood for taking the singles.
This is an absolute pleasure to watch, a batting display, aggressive batting display.
That's gone 7 rows back into the mound stand. We just see someone collecting there. That's a big hit.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple more of those in this over. In comes Patel. That wasn't timed very well, but the intention was to repeat the previous shot, and they run through for a single. Ball went out to mid-on. Wiseman will face this next delivery from Patel, and that ball is just defensively played out onto the offside. Score remains 91 for 2. Wiseman is 7 not out. Carmichael 45 of just 29 deliveries, and this is the last ball of the 11th over, and that is short. 6 on the leg side over mid-wicket.
Yeah, that one sat up and was there for the hitting. 15 off the over from Patel.
Yeah.
Difficult time to come onto bowl. Now you do wonder whether the RAF don't have many non-spin options, because there's a lot of spin bowlers being bowled through here and coming in for a bit of flack. So we'll see what comes next, but that was a tough first over for Patel. 2 batsmen are in.
So Pearce is going to continue from the pavilion end. The bad news for him is that in fact they've made a change. Pearce is going to come back from the pavilion end, and Carmichael, the left-handed Carmichael, is on strike. He tries to sweep that into the leg side, didn't know much about it, and the ball goes through to the wicket-keeper. Oh, that was actually a wide. It's a 98 for 2. In comes Pearce. And just flicks out down the leg side, fielded by the wicket-keeper, and there is no run.
The energy levels of the RAF team a little bit down in the field.
Pearce comes in, and again not a bad ball, just hit out into the covers where it's fielded by the fielder at extra cover. A better over this. Carmichael patiently tapping away, waiting for the ball. Drives that through extra cover. The fielder from long off will come and cut it off, but they managed to get 2 runs. Didn't quite time that.
Quite often see Carmichael taking one hand off the bat as he drives.
And that's the 100 up for the Army. 100 for 2. Carmichael 47 not out. Wiseman 13 not out. Pearce with the 4th ball of third over, his third over. Again, a one-handed shot by Carmichael just into the covers. There's no run. Signalling for something to the dugout, possibly fresh gloves, I'm not sure. In comes Patel. That signal wide down the leg side.
Yeah, just this issue of still having to bowl to a right-hander and a left-hander does make it more difficult.
It's difficult to get a line, a rhythm, isn't it? 101 for 2. We're in the 12th over. Pearce coming in now, past the umpire. And that ball is played out into the covers. A diving attempt to stop the ball, but he couldn't quite do that, the fielder there. Beals, and they get a quick single. Wiseman comes on strike. 13 not out. Both of these batsmen going well, hitting the ball extremely hard. There's a fielder on the 2 fielders on the leg side boundary, and that's going to be another. No, that's going to be a 4, I think. Yeah, 4 runs through wide, well, past extra cover really, past mid wicket really. 106 for 2. Carmichael on strike for the 13th over.
Yeah, Wiseman has raced along to 17 off 5 deliveries, and Carmichael 48, relatively steady, 48 off 34. And these two are dangerous. They've got 8 overs left, and they'll be targeting 200, I would think, as a best case scenario at this stage.
And Patel
has come off. Shorthouse is back on for his last over.
Carmichael on strike, the left-handed Carmichael, and he hits that past the bowler, over the bowler's head, sort of having bumped it before, and they take a single. Wiseman on strike. Both batsmen playing very fluently, both well set. 2 on the boundary on the leg side, and the ball is just gently glided out onto the offside. There is no run. Fielder at backward point, fielder at point, short extra cover, long off, and on the cover boundary. And that is, next ball is played out by Wiseman to the fielder at backward point. There is no run. In comes Shorthouse, and there's a repeat of the previous stroke to backward point. There is no run. It's a good over this from Shorthouse. They've got to try and stem this flow of runs that the Army have got going. In he comes again. A reverse sweep, that's in the air, that's going to be caught. Yep.
It's a good reward for Shorthouse. That was he saw that Wiseman was trying to get him away.
Yeah.
Reverse sweep didn't really work out. Went up in the air. Good catch. That's a crucial breakthrough for the
yes, a vital wicket for the RAF there. 107 for 3.
Carmichael's still there, but Wiseman made a rapid 17 off about 8 deliveries. But there'll be those who say it was an unnecessary risk to try and reverse Shorthouse in his last over. He was about to be bowled out, but he's taken 2 for 13.
Yeah.
Very good figures indeed.
Yes, Shorthouse bowled well in that over, and it was necessary to to get that wicket, really, to give the RAF a chance. So 107 for 3. There's one ball remaining in Shorthouse's last over, and Narayan is the batsman that's come out. He's just having a word with Carmichael, who is on 49 not out, and he's going to be on strike. One would think that he would just see out this last ball from Shorthouse.
My money's on him trying to
but he's on 49,
50 with a 6,
and he's got the short boundary in his sights. He straight drives that ball, and I'm sure it's 4 runs through long on. Carmichael goes on to 53 not out of 36 balls, and the Army are 111 for 3.
That was a great shot to bring up 50, smashed firmly down the ground, pretty low risk, and it's his second 50 of the day, I think, isn't it? So
yes.
He's had a good day out at Lord's, whatever happens.
Yes, indeed.
And, I'm sure the Army were too worried about it, but the score 111 for 3. Nelson is there, and Narayan, the new batsman we're facing, will be hoping that that's not going to cause him any problems.
So I think Burnett, who didn't have a particularly good first over, is going to be bowling from the pavilion, and he went for 19. And it's going to be Narayan to face his first ball, Burnett from the pavilion end. The ball is played out onto the onside, and they only take a single.
Yeah, nice for Narayan to get off the mark quickly and give Carmichael the strike. He's not as an aggressive a batsman as Carmichael. He certainly wasn't in the first game today. And his job is just to give Carmichael as much of the strike as possible.
Let's see what Carmichael does to Burnett. He's tapping away, waiting for him to come in. He comes now. That ball is played out into the leg side, where the fielder from the boundary at mid-wicket comes and fields, and they take a single. So Narayan, the right-handed Narayan, 1 not out. Takes a look at the field. Fielder at point. At mid-off. And on the boundary at extra cover. Trapped a bit by that ball, is given out. LBW. Beat for pace there, I think. He was caught in no man's land and caught on the pads. And he's been given out. So a short-lived stay at the wicket for Narayan.
That's quite a blow for the Army. I mean, it was a quick ball, as you say, Arnash, but my first instinct, we won't have the privilege of seeing it again, but it looked quite high to me. But maybe he was quite a long way back. But it was a good sharp delivery, and of course Narayan is only just in, so prone to be a bit susceptible to a quicker delivery. And that's keeping things, keeping the RAF in the chase at least.
A vital wicket, really, because that stems it a bit now, doesn't it? They're 4 wickets down already. The run rate is 8.4, which is manageable. We're in the 14th over, 113 for 4. The new batsman is Hill. And it's going to be Burnett to carry on from the pavilion end. He's got 3 balls left in this over, his second over. And let's see what he can do. In he comes to the new batsman, who confidently plays this out onto the leg side, and they take a single. He's off the mark straight away, bringing Carmichael on strike. You feel the excitement when Carmichael comes on strike, don't you?
The excitement and the fear, I think, depending on which side of the fence you're on.
He just nudges this one out onto the onside, and they take a single.
I think from what we've seen, Carmichael definitely prefers slower bowlers, and the RAF in that respect may have played their hand slightly wrong in the early overs, but let's see what they've got left. Burnett's got 2 more overs left. Shorthouse, of course, has bowled himself out.
Yes, he's not all that fluent with against the quicker bowling, is he? There's an appeal for caught behind, and the umpire is not interested, so that was Hill on strike. It was Burnett's last ball of his second over, and there was an appeal for caught behind, but it wasn't given. So the score remains at 115 for 4. Carmichael is 55 not out, and Hill is 1 not out.
Yeah, well, the RAF have really pulled themselves back into the game in the last 3 or 4 overs with those 2 wickets, and I think their challenge now is to keep Carmichael off strike if they possibly can, and to contain the run rate. And we've got a change of bowling. It looks like there's some pace coming on from the nursery end. They must have been listening to our sage advice, Nash. And
absolutely, yes.
It's obviously much easier from up here. But they've still got fielders out for Carmichael. They're still wary of it.
So Hawke is coming back from the nursery end. He went for 18 off his first 2 overs, and that first ball of this over is just left by Carmichael, taken by the wicketkeeper.
Very impressive from the keeper there, standing right up to Hawke. He's bowling at a pretty decent pace. It's good for keeping Carmichael in his crease.
It's a fuller length delivery which is driven to mid-off, and they take a single. So Hill will come on strike.
It's one of those shots that looks so good it deserves more than 1 run.
Yes.
Sadly, it was hit too well.
Yeah.
Went straight to the man at long off.
Nothing like a straight drive, is there? 116 for 4. Hill is on strike. He's 1 not out. He's not faced Hawke before. In comes Hawke. Again, a fuller pitch delivery, and the ball is just played out into the covers. There is no run.
Very watchful shot there from Hawke. Looks like he's playing himself in.
And he's trapped the batsman there. He didn't know much about that, the batter Hill, but the umpire decided not to agree with the bowler's request. There's no run, and that was not out.
See, to me that looked more out than the appeal in the last over.
Yeah, I thought that was trapped. Yeah. In comes Hawke. He's bowling well. That's a full toss, which is hit out onto the offside. They take a single.
Hill didn't really middle that. He was lucky not to land that into the hands of a fielder.
Yes. So the left-handed Carmichael comes on strike. Hawke comes in, and he had a sort of a flash, wild flash of that, and the ball went for 4 lucky runs. Third boundary, and that is the end of the 15th over. I will make way for Alan and leave you with Tim to summarise. 121 for 4 the score.
Thanks, Avinash. Yeah, I mean, I think Carmichael would probably be the first to admit that he's probably had the rub of the green today. That was an example where he went hard after a ball outside off and edged it up the hill at Lords for 4 runs. It's just he's just changing his cap at the moment. He's not batting in a helmet, notably, and he's just changed his cap. It's hot work, I imagine. It's not a bad idea after a few overs. And we're 15 overs in, 121 for 4. Run rate is 8. It's going to be Burnett to continue from the pavilion end. Welcome back, Alan.
Thank you, Tim. It's been interesting last few overs because the RAF have just fought back a little bit, haven't they? Run rate is not quite accelerated as we'd anticipated.
They've done well. Burnett in again from the pavilion end. That's hit into the offside, not convincingly at all. They run a quick single. Hill was coming down the wicket, Burnett's run coming, but he gets himself off strike, which is probably his key consideration at the moment, and brings Carmichael back onto strike at 60 not out.
I guess the idea is to have Carmichael facing as many balls as possible, particularly as the middle lower order of the army didn't get much opportunity in the first match.
He's walloped that ball high into the onside. Is there a man going to be underneath it? He's not quite going to get there, and it's going to run away for 4. Oh no, he's just pulled it back inside the boundary rope. Good bit of collaborative fielding there from the 2 RAF players out on the onside, and Carmichael gets 2 runs. It was uppish, not a catch in the end, but good piece of fielding to stop it going for 4.
Very good fielding, because Carmichael's striking very well at the moment.
Okay, Burnett turns at his mark now, coming in the lengthening shadows. Carmichael down the wicket, drives that along the ground. That's the man long off. Just take a single, even though there's a slight fumble when it reached the fielder. And brings Hill onto strike. Right-handed Hill. Contrast the left-handed Carmichael. 125 for 4 is the Army score after 15.5 overs. Burnett comes in again. Oh, that struck him on the pad. There's an appeal. He looked quite a long way down. He could be run out here. He's out of his ground. They've missed. Had a shot at the stumps and missed. It's carnage out there. But the net result is no runs, no wickets, and order can be restored. He'd come out of his ground, been struck on the pad, given not out, then almost forgot to get back into his ground, by which time the RAF fielder had a shy and missed the stumps, and we almost had overthrows.
That was what was very noticeable, wasn't it? That he didn't go back very promptly at all. But he's back now.
Down the wicket again. He's hit that one high in the air. It's going to land in front of the man at long off, and they're going to get 2 wickets. I think you could describe it as a bit of a de Grandhomme moment he had there, actually. He was,
yes, just a wee bit, wasn't it?
After the LBW shout. 2 runs though to Hill. He's on 5, 127 for 4. Carmichael 63 at the non-striker's end, and they've got 4 overs left, so 4 overs in the ball, 25 balls left in this innings. So Burnett in again. That's played defensively by Hill. He's out of his crease, but not charging down the wicket this time, and that is the end of the over. Burnett's bowled 3 overs, 1 for 29, 127 for 4.
Yeah, it's a good comeback by Burnett after his first over that went for 19, when he was rather the victim of a merciless attack from Fletcher. So just 10 off his second and third overs together, and well, only 4 overs left now. 127, 200 looks well out of reach, I suspect, but they'll be looking to go a little bit longer than they did in the first match when they scored 171. Carmichael is the key man. He's still there on 63, and well, he might even be eyeing a ton at Lord's, who knows.
So it's going to be Hawke to continue from the nursery end. Carmichael smacked that off the back foot out into the offside. The fielder's going to cut it off before he gets the boundary, but they should run too. They have to hurry a little bit. Fine. So shorter ball. Carmichael had all the time to place that into the offside. He goes to 65. Firmly tapping his bat down as Hawke comes in again. And that one, he's gone for it onto the leg side. One hand came off the bat. He didn't make any contact with the ball. And there's no run.
Yeah, the one hand coming off the bat is a regular occurrence, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you wonder whether it's a function of the hot weather or whether it's just he's got a very strong top hand.
Seems rather as if maybe a... Oh, look at that.
That's gone.
Well,
he's hit that a long way. That has gone down over long on, and probably 10 to 12 rows back into the mound stand. That is a substantial hit from Carmichael. He really got hold of that one.
That was a beautiful shot to watch.
He moves to 71. The Army totaled 135 for 4. That was a huge hit. And I think that delivery was what they'd say was in the slot, and it was certainly put away by Carmichael. They're trying to find the ball now, which is quite a long way back.
There are various spectators standing up looking for it, but it did go quite a number of rows back, and it may have bounced further on.
He almost took out the cameraman from the British Forces broadcasting team that's here, who's now filming the guy looking for the ball. There we go. He seems to have found it.
That's good. Let's hope the ball is undamaged. There it comes back.
It's allowed the batsman to have a little drink in a conference with the 12th man. And Carmichael will be working out the maths on getting to 100. He needs 29 more, and he's got 3.5 overs to play with.
Yeah, it's only 21 balls left, and he won't face all of those. But he's striking the ball very effectively indeed.
Most of the RAF fielders are actually standing outside the boundary rope at the start of each over. That one's gone, but it's gone very high. It's probably going to... Is it going to be taken? No, it's a very difficult chance for the man in the covers, who dived in the end in vain but couldn't get to it. And in the meantime, Carmichael's stolen 2 runs. That went so high he had time to do that. He's a bit cross with himself, but
yeah,
he survives.
You know, you'd catch that 1 time in 10, wouldn't you? It's very difficult going backwards.
Here he comes again, hand off the bat, into the leg side, man running round to pick up the ball. They're going to get just the 1 this time, which probably isn't such a bad thing for Carmichael, because he'll have strike in the next over. There's 1 ball left that Hill's going to face. Carmichael goes to 74 off 48 balls.
It's quite an extravagant way to keep the strike, isn't it?
If you would have preferred a boundary.
Yes,
here comes Hawke for the last ball. That's hit out to long on. Carmichael's keen for 2 because he wants to strike, but he's not going to get 2.
No.
Which means that Hill will have the strike in the next over, because we're now 17 overs down, 139 for 4. The run rate is 8.2. It's been around the 8 mark for a while, and Carmichael is 74, Hill 6.
Yes, and that over gives a pretty good indication of how the Army will play the rest of this innings. They're going to be very aggressive. Carmichael's got an eye on the 100. He needs 26 for that, and Hill is clearly going to give him strong support with singles if needs be, I'm quite sure. But it's Hill who has the strike. Burnett's going to carry on and bowl the last over of his spell.
Indeed, here he comes in from the pavilion end now. Quick in his run up. That's turned into the leg side by Hill. Off his toes, and they take a single. He's delivered the strike to Carmichael after 1 ball, as may have been requested. So Hawke finished his 4 overs there for 36, going for 9 and over. And Burnett is going for 10 and over on his currently with 1 wicket. It means that we're going to have the last couple of overs bowled by someone else coming back into the attack as Burnett comes in again. Carmichael goes for that one. He scuffed it. He may just... Oh, it's an amazing catch. I thought that was going to go over the fielder on the cover boundary, who leapt, arched his back, plucked that out of the air and landed on the right side of the rope. It's a fantastically athletic effort, and frankly it needed to be to get rid of Carmichael. He's played a great innings, and will be gutted, I'm sure, that didn't cross the boundary rope, but it was couldn't have been much closer. It was a great catch.
Superb catch taken with both feet off the ground above his head, and massive applause for Carmichael as he leaves the field with his bat raised, acknowledging the applause of those around the ground. And a really entertaining innings, and it's 74, and it's set this match up for an exciting finish later on. So that puts the Army in a slightly difficult position now, with the new batsman Boynton coming in, who's batting a bit lower than he did in the first match. And in the first match, of course, he hit the last 2 balls for 6, so I don't suspect we'll see any relaxation from the assault. And the Army will be looking still to get this score up towards the 170s if they can.
A great knock from Carmichael. He certainly spent the most time in the middle of anyone here today. He's had a good knock in both matches he's played in.
Yeah, 62 in the first match, I think it was. And
Burnett in
really
now. Let's turn round the corner by Hill into the leg side. It's going to run away for 4. The fielder at short square leg couldn't get there, and that's an economical shot for 4, taking him to 11 and the total to 144 for 5.
Nicely timed, and that just ran away past 2 fielders who were not Not positioned very far away, but beautifully timed shot. 4 runs.
So Burnett, 2 wickets to his name now. Comes in for the last part of his 4th over. That's hit straight down the ground in the air. It's not going to go as far in the air as the man at long on. They'll take a single and bring Captain Boynton onto strike. Looks like we have another left-hander at the crease, which won't be what the RAF bowlers want to see. They've had a left and a right for most of the innings. Boynton number 76. That's what the reason is for him choosing that number.
It's not one of the questions that's usually asked on the questionnaires, is it? Why did you choose that number?
His first ball is played into the leg side nicely off his feet. It's going to take at least 1 there. They settle on 1. And he'll come back to face the last ball of this 18th over. And after this, we've got just 2 overs left. 146 for 5. So the Army would be targeting 170 plus, you would think, at this stage. And the RAF just doing their best to keep them down below that. Burnett, last ball of his spell. Hill charges, cross-batted swipe that ends up, instead of going to the leg side, it ends up going straight down the ground. They're running back for the second. They could be out here.
Yep.
Boynton has run himself out, going for a very punchy second run, let's say, and that will deliver the goods for the RAF again. So just 1 run coming off that ball, and Boynton being run out for 1.
Yes,
146 for 6.
He'll be annoyed by that, and so will Hill, because the ball didn't go where Hill intended it to go, out on the leg side. It went much more straight, and the second run was very risky and perhaps a little unwise, and Boynton has paid the penalty, but he made the decision to go for it and couldn't get back to the pavilion end in time. So 147 for 6. I think that's the end of the 18th over, is it?
It is. Here we've got 2 overs left. There'll be new bowlers in both cases, and so he's coming to the wicket for the Army.
Yeah, who
Schofield.
Schofield. So no, in fact, it's not Boynton.
That does seem strange, because I thought Hill would hit that ball and was coming back.
So did I. Yes.
So let's see if the scoreboard rectifies itself shortly. But whatever happens, we've got Patel coming back on at the nursery end, which again is a fairly
brave decision, isn't it?
Yes,
yes, interesting.
With Boynton facing, according to the scoreboard, we'll check his number in a minute, but
short leg side boundary. Well, to eye up.
So Patel in, that one's full and outside off. It's going to be given an offside wide. Patel's not very happy about, but it did look pretty wide. So let's see. The scoreboard is now caught up with itself. Schofield is first. That's better. Not out.
Yep.
Hill is still there, and it was Boynton who was out.
Schofield actually on strike, isn't he?
Indeed. Here's Patel now to Schofield. That one is hit not very far. It looked like it was going to go into the leg side, and it span out into the offside, and there's no run.
You were technically correct. It was hit.
It was hit not very far, but apart from that, so Schofield has opened his stance slightly. His intention is clear. Next ball from Patel. It's short, knocked down to the offside by Schofield. They're going to have to hurry and get there. It's a stinging throw into Patel at the bowler's end. And they get their single. Gives Hill the strike, which I'm sure was the key priority at this stage. With just 9 balls to go. 149 for 6. Hill 13 not out, Schofield 1. And there's 4 balls left in this over, by the way. So Patel coming in again. It's given some air. Hill's hit that hard into the leg side, but only as far as a fielder out there. They're going to have to settle for 1 run. And bring Schofield back on strike. That's the 150 up for the Army, 150 for 6 in 18.5 overs. A run rate of 8.1. So Schofield now has strike, the left-hander. Patel into bowl, and that one is smacked down the ground by Schofield. He didn't hit it that well. He's going to get, well, no, they're not going to come back for the second, just the one.
That was. I'm surprised they didn't go for that second run. There was always a chance of the throw being a little bit wayward, and it was to. Wasn't over the stumps. Every run can count from now on.
So Hill has got strike, which may be one reason they didn't go for the second run. It's a full toss that he's hit down the ground, only as far as the man long off, and they just take a single. Sometimes quite hard to deal with those full tosses, to know where best to hit them. And he didn't dispatch that one to the boundary as he probably hoped. So last ball of Patel's over, the 19th over of the innings. And Schofield is facing. Left-handed Schofield. Patel comes in now from the nursery end. Schofield hits that one, and that's gone for 4. It's a good shot. He middled that one.
Yep.
Through the leg side. 156 for 6 off 19 overs.
Yeah, it's a great way to end the over for Schofield and the Army side. So 156 with 1 over to go. They'll still be eyeing 170 if they can get there. It's going to be a score that's probably par for the course at 8 runs and over, plus a little bit. Certainly isn't a score in the region of 200, which might have put the RAF completely out of contention. So they will go into their innings with some hope, and the Army have a decent score to defend.
So it's going to be Pearce to come back and bowl his last over, and the last over of the innings. He's bowled 3 for 19 so far. Patel ended up bowling 2 for 24, which is a good recovery after his first over was pretty expensive. It was 15 or 16. It's going to be Hill on strike with a short leg side boundary. Pearce coming around the wicket. So over the wicket, his left arm. That's a wide, an offside wide. Extras in the innings are only 7. So they haven't done badly. Some good keeping. So it's now a lovely evening here at Lord's. The sun beginning to sink in the sky. Pearce in again. That one is hit by Hill. Didn't make great contact and has gone straight to the man at square leg. They just take a single. 158 for 6.
Yeah, bit of a premeditated shot that, I think, and he was hoping he would avoid the fielder, but didn't manage to do that. Brings Schofield back on strike.
Indeed, so they've got 3 out on the boundary on the leg side, 1 in the ring on the leg side, 3 in the ring on the offside, and 1 sweeper out. That's a good slower ball there. In fact, he's got a nick on it and he's got him out. Well bowled Pearce. He's got Schofield. He came charging down. I think he just got a nick through of the slower ball. Yes, caught behind.
Yep. I think that's a deserved wicket as well for Pearce, who's bowled quite economically at different stages of the innings. And well, they really have fought back, very well, haven't they, the RAF? It's at one stage with Carmichael and Wiseman going well, we thought a big score was on the target, but
indeed, they've done well. 158 for 7 with 3 balls to go. And they'll probably consider that this is a chaseable total. But bearing in mind the Army have got a strong bowling attack as well. So the new batsman is now Dearden, right-hander batsman. Hasn't got long to get his eye in. Eyeing up that short leg side boundary, opened up his stance. His intention is pretty clear, I'd say. And the left-handed Pearce comes in now, and that ball is wide outside off. Yeah. It's called a wide, in fact.
2 wides in the last over is not really what's required, is it? That's disappointing.
Well, he was doing what you'll often see in these later overs, is the wide Yorker attempt.
Yeah.
To try and bowl something that's unhittable but not a wide, which is quite a fine line to tread. And,
the batter tries to make some room as well. It does make it difficult.
Yeah, it's 159 for 7. 4 balls left. That one he's got hold of round the corner. It's going to go for 4. He's cut that very finely round the leg side. Nice shot from Dearden. 163 for 7. Pearson has closed down these last 3 balls of the innings.
Yes, that was an ideal choice of where to hit the ball there. 4 runs from the moment it left the bat.
So Pearce, and again left arm over. That one is walloped high. Could be out here. Man running back isn't quite going to get there for the catch, but they're going to get 2 runs unless there's a direct hit, which would have been run out. So it's that last over mayhem that you might expect. But 2 runs to Dearden. He skied one up towards long off, but no fielder could get to it before it landed. And he's got 2 runs, and there are 2 balls left. It's hit nicely into the leg side. There's going to be a man there to cut it off. He fields nicely. It's a single to Dearden. It is now the non-striker's end for the last ball of the innings. Hill on 16 not out will face. It's 166 for 7. The boundary would take them to a nice 170.
Dearden's done a great job there, hasn't he, with the 7 runs off those 3 balls.
He's done very well. That one last ball is hit out to long on. They're going to run 2. Dearden's set off with great intent, and he'll be fine coming back for 2. It's Hill who has to rush.
Yeah.
He gets there just in time. And there it is. That's the close of the Army innings. 168 for 7. A run rate of 8.4. A fantastic knock from Carmichael, 74. Fletcher, 36. Wiseman with an aggressive, rapid 17. Hill, 18 not out. And Dearden 7 yeah.
Yeah, useful runs for that last in that last wicket partnership right at the end. So they nearly got to their 170 that we've been talking about, and I think that's a competitive score. But equally, I think the RAF will feel that if they get off to a good start, don't lose too many wickets early on, they can make a good fist of chasing it. But the Army do have a strong bowling attack, as we saw in the first match. I think it's going to be a very interesting end to the day in the RAF chase.
Yeah, absolutely. The RAF did well there. It could have been a 200 total at one point. They've contained the Army relatively. And so 168 for 7 is the Army total. Wickets for Shorthouse, 2 for 70. Burnett, 2 for 37. And a wicket apiece for Pearce and Watson. So while the groundsmen, for the last time today, come out and sweep the square and re-white the lines in the crease, we will leave you for a few minutes and be back shortly to give you coverage of the RAF run chase.
So you join us midway through this final match here at Lord's for the Inter-Services T20, with the Army men scoring 168 for 7, which is the same amount of runs that the RAF beat the Royal Navy with on Tuesday night. So that'll be an interesting run chase. But I am joined by 2 history makers, 2 women's players, the first ever women's military side to be invited to play here on the main pitch. Connie, we spoke to you earlier, captain of the side and star of the show, if you don't mind me saying that, Lou Worsfold, who was involved in all 4 wickets here. First, if I can come to you, Lou, because we spoke to Connie earlier. We spoke a little bit before we came on camera about how important this match was, but you were worried that it was getting too much hype and you would get too carried away. But how you dealt well with it in the end?
Yeah, it's a game of cricket ultimately. Yes, we're making history. It's fantastic that women's service sport is being showcased at such an iconic venue. But there was a danger of it becoming too much about the occasion, but it wasn't. Everyone stuck to their plans, stuck to the game plan, and did their job and contributed towards the win.
You gave us a really lovely preview interview saying this was everything. This was about respect, this was about inclusivity, this was about diversity. Do you feel you've achieved that today?
Without doubt. I'm just walking around here. I've been stopped by people, congratulating the team on how well they've done. The fact that they've commented about how well that women's service sport cricket actually is. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about our standards, and we've gone out there and we've showcased as a team how good we really are.
Brilliant for the 4 wickets. I'll just come to Connie quickly. How pleased are you? I mean, we only spoke to you a few hours ago. Here you've won a match at Lord's. How pleased are you of your girls?
Oh, so pleased. I couldn't have asked for a better performance from everyone. Lugal especially. Amanda was phenomenal with the bowling and batting. Vagga's had an exceptional day. My sister disappointingly did quite well. It's been really good all round.
Disappointing. No twin rivalry there at all. It's weird, isn't it? Sort of, you actually made a really good start to the MCC, setting you the 115, but it slowed down a little bit. Were there any worries there in the middle of the innings?
I think probably when I got my phenomenal golden duck was probably where the worry started. And then we had a little collapse, and then we settled right back down. And Georgie Dean and Vaggas both batted the most sensible I think I've seen them bat in a really long time, and it was really impressive and really good to see. And I was never worried about the match. I just thought they're going to see us right through. So
I feel like I jinxed you by asking about all the big boundaries you're going to hit.
I know, I'm blaming you entirely.
I'll take it. Lou, how did it feel? I mean, a one-handed sort of juggle catch that you took, another lovely catch and 2 wickets as well. I know I'm not making out that you won it single-handedly, but how did it feel to be part of the first wicket here for the first ever women's military team to be invited to play here?
It was great just to be able to contribute, whether it was the first wicket or the last wicket. It was just great to be part of the team, be part of the occasion and contribute and help towards the team win.
And the MCC team, I mean, you know, they will have played here before. You say you've played the MCC, obviously as part of the Royal Navy. I know you've both played at other grounds, but is there something special about Lord's?
Of course there is. I mean, if you can't get motivated to play cricket at this venue, then just put your pads away and never play again, because this is, you know, the everywhere in the world. If you talk about cricket, they talk about Lord's. You know, yes, the SCG, the MCG, they're all iconic venues as well around the world. But you know, it's Lord's. Every international player wants to play at Lord's. Everyone wants to, you know, have the opportunity to walk out on the hallowed turf here, and to be able to do that as part of service sport is just amazing.
I know it's not always comparable to other sports, but we used the example of Twickenham earlier. We've seen so many players come into the military sides, especially the Army and the Royal Air Force in women's rugby, who've come from outside, joined the service so they can play the sport to a high level. Do you see, and would you hope for something similar then in cricket?
I think, yeah, definitely hope for something similar. I think at the moment it's probably not quite there, but it's definitely getting that way, and it's really exciting to see. I think any young cricketers, I think the Army and the Navy and the Air Force are a really great option for them, and the jobs that they'd have to do are really exciting and interesting as well, so it's good all round.
Have Mum and Dad have a good day?
I think so, yeah. Lots of waving.
That's good. Luke, any predictions for this final game? You are, I suppose, neutral because it's Army versus RAF, but it is the final. From your cricketing mind, from your cricketing brain, what did you see out of that Army innings?
Just a strong batting performance from one of their players at Carmichael. He had a great innings. It just hopefully when the Army come to bowl, they can bowl. For them, they'll be wanting to bowl tight lines. The RAF will want to get off to a quick start, just to try calm the nerves down and drop that run rate as much as possible. But it'll be, you mentioned the total chase they're chasing down is the same to the Navy, you know, but it's a different team, so you just don't know, do you? Different wicket. They played that game at Aldershot, and they're playing here now. So I'm sure they won't let the occasion get to them, and it will just they'll just go through it.
Okay, well listen, ladies, thank you so much. We were hoping that birthday girl Mel Vaggas would turn up. 40 today. If I say it one more time, maybe she'll turn up. But it doesn't seem we have it. If we do have her before these innings kick off, I will of course grab her and bring her live to you. But thank you to Connie, and thank you. Do you want to go and check? Connie's going to go and check. And thank you to Lou as well, particularly. Really, really standout performance from you. And thank you all for joining us here again live from Lord's for this IST20. We're halfway through this final match. You know I'm getting tired because I can't speak anymore. But yeah, you join us halfway through this final match, and we've got the Army have put down 168 for 7 against the Royal Air Force, and we'll see whether they can retain the title or not. Well, long promised. I said we'd get her, but it took her a while to get her from the pavilion, all the celebrating, not only for the UCAF win, but also because it's her birthday. Mel Vaggers, congratulations not only on the UCAF win and winning the scoring runs, but, 39 again, you must feel great.
Oh, it's what an amazing day. I mean, it's been amazing, so I haven't had to think about my birthday up until when we finished. And it's been an amazing day for women's cricket, services cricket here. It's just been a real privilege to be here and play for the first time on the main ground alongside the men. And the fact that I haven't had to think about my birthday has been amazing. So, yeah, it's really good, thank you.
Did, it must have kind of inspired you to get those winning runs. I mean, that must be important. If someone says to you, what did you do on your big birthday, June the 16th, what do you do? And you said, I scored the winning runs at Lord's. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I mean, I just knew we had a job to do. And we'd had a little bit of a collapse. And although we batted really deeply within the team, I just felt like I had to be sensible. So I was kind of boring myself a little bit with, I wasn't hitting big, but I knew I just need 4 and over to make sure we won the match. So yeah, chuffed to bits.
And I know it's sort of army strong, that side, and I've spoken to Connie a bit about, we always talk about there have been some standout players for the Navy and the Royal Air Force over the years, but that strong arm side really speaks for itself when you look at the likes of Amanda Potgieter, but then you look at Lou Worsfold, who was involved in all 4 of those wickets.
Yeah, she's had a great day, and she's done the Navy proud. And it's a shame we didn't manage to get an RAF on the starting 11. They were in the 14. But yeah, I just hope that the Navy and the RAF kind of catch up with us, because it makes for a much better, more interesting services. But yeah, Army are leading the way, and we're enjoying our cricket. So.
But do you think events like this will do what they should for women's service cricket in particular?
Yeah, I think so. As long as people are aware that there's services cricket and that they can go and play representative sport, and hopefully raise the profiles, the chain of command release players. The Navy and the RAF are much smaller than we are, so they're kind of on the back foot. But we're hopeful that they can, more of them start playing, which will be good.
I'm really sorry, I'm looking over your shoulder because play has got underway. Thank you so much, Mel Vaggers. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you again soon. And just to rejoin the match and the MCC commentators, the Army, as a reminder, set them 168. The RAF are now chasing.
For the RAF is going to be Diver on strike, and he is facing Hodgson from the pavilion end. And that first ball is just played out onto the offside, and there is no run. The non-striker is Shorthouse. And the score is 0. Late evening sunshine here at Lord's. It's been a very hot and a beautiful day. In comes Hodgson again, left arm over the wicket, and this ball is driven down to mid-on, where it is fielded by Schofield, and there is no run. Shorthouse watching carefully, hand on his hip on the non-striker's end as Hodgson comes in for the 3rd delivery, which is down the leg side and just clipped by Diver, yes. So he gets a single to short leg. It brings Shorthouse onto strike here at this nursery end, and he's taking his guard from the umpire now. Score is 1 without loss. 5 fielders on the offside. A short third, cover point. And next delivery is flicked onto the left leg side. The fielder on the boundary by the mound stand comes in and fields, and they just take a single. It's a man at extra cover, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, and square leg boundary. And man on the long leg boundary as well. In comes Hodgson. Left arm is quite quick, and that ball is played straight back to the bowler, who fields it and then, as a gesture, rather aggressively threatens to throw the ball back at the batsman, drawing large cheers from the crowd. 1 ball left in the over, which has been a good opening over. Just 2 runs conceded so far off it. Bright sunshine covering the ground. In he comes for the last ball of his over. Down the leg side, and that is called a wide by the umpire. And they run 1 as well. Score moves on to 4. And Shorthouse will be on strike. Hodgson. That's a better ball. It's played out onto the offside. There is no run. That is the end of the over. And Tim is back with us. Hello, Tim.
Hi, Avinash. Yes, it was a watchful first over by the RAF. 4 off it. They'll need to keep an eye on the run rate. But Hodgson is a good bowler, so to see him off is a sensible starting point. And to make the most of any weaknesses they can find in the Army bowling attack, take the runs when they can from those bowlers.
Yeah. Yes, he bowled well in the first match as well, didn't he?
Indeed, and Hill's going to come into bowl now. Just got his pads off, and he's now back in action. A bit of spin from Hill. It's measuring quite a short run up. Keeper standing up.
That first ball is a full toss from Hill, which is just played straight back to him by Diver. And he comes again, and that's another fullish delivery, which is played out onto the onside. And fielded at around mid-on by the fielder running in from long on. They take a single. Score moves on to 5 without loss. Shorthouse is 1 and Diver is 2. 4 men inside the circle on the offside. And that is wide down the leg side. Umpire signals wide to the scorers.
Very good leg side take there from the keeper.
And that's going to be 4 runs through extra cover on the next delivery. Can't seem to get his length right just yet in this first over, Hill.
It's a cracking shot from Shorthouse, driven nicely on the ground, firmly.
Slightly over pitch, wasn't it? Ball, yeah.
But the man on the sweeper boundary there is not going to stop that.
He stood no chance at all. In comes Hill again, and that ball is cut out on the offside for another 4 runs. Again, the fielder at point didn't have all that far to move, but he dived, but it went straight past him. Shorthouse moves on to 9. Score is 14 without loss.
Great boundaries for the RF there.
In comes Hill again. Again a full delivery, played out onto the onside, and they run through for a single. 1 ball left in this opening over from Hill. He's already conceded 11 runs from it, and it's Diver on strike who pulls this one out onto the leg side, and I think that's going to probably go for 4 as well. No, it's just stopped inside the ropes. And they took 3, I think, so that's 17 without loss now. Shorthouse comes on strike.
Very productive over for the RAF there, 13 from it. Just fine on run rate, 17 off 2 overs is what they need. So it's a good start, and just that point about making the most of those bowlers that may not be as strong or have a bad over.
Yeah.
Because the chances are Hodgson probably won't bowl 4 overs straight through.
No. So the Army really need Hodgson to come up with another good economical over here. And he comes down. And Shorthouse hits it out onto the offside, and that's going to be 4 runs through the covers.
He went after that one.
He did.
Lifted it over the inner fielding circle.
A sign of intent from the RAF here. Shorthouse moves on to 14, and he is still on strike. Hodgson is going to be bowling from the pavilion end, and he's at his mark now. In he comes, past the umpire, and Shorthouse has a wild flash of this outside the off stump, makes no connection at all. I thought the umpire might have possibly called it a wide, but he doesn't do so. Score is 21 for naught.
The pace if Hodgson showed there.
There's a fielder on the square leg boundary, fielder at mid wicket and mid on, and then mid off, short extra cover, point, backward point. That's in the air and just over the fielder at mid on. It's going to go for 4 runs.
It's not an orthodox shot. It was clubbed over mid on, just cleared the fielder there.
Yeah.
He was trying to pull it, but
didn't time it, did it?
Yeah, got a bit early and managed, luckily, to clear the field of mid-on.
It's a free hit, so it must have been a no ball. I didn't see the signal.
Yeah, it must have been a no ball on height, I think.
Oh, I
so
see.
That's a bonus for the RF.
Yeah. So the free hit now coming up for Shorthouse.
It's a very good ball.
It was a clever ball, that. It was a Yorker length ball, which he just could just about manage to dig out. Score remains at 27 without loss. Shorthouse goes for a little walkabout round the stumps, having a little think about what he wants to do. Now comes back to his position. Hodgson is also ready, and he starts running in now. Nice fluent run, nice bowling action, and that is hit straight into the tavern stand for 6 runs from the minute it left the bat. He saw that so early. Beautiful shot.
Oh, he absolutely middled that. That was a great shot. Front foot over mid-wicket. Cheers for the man in the crowd who found the ball as well. Well done, sir.
Yeah. Anyway, the ball is now back with the bowler. 33 without loss. Shorthouse is very quickly moved on to 24, and Diver is 4. In comes the bowler, and that ball is driven onto the offside and very nicely stopped by the fielder at extra cover. There is no run.
It's firmly hit that, and the fielder made a tumbling stop very nicely and saved at least 2.
This over seems to have gone on forever for Hodgson.
Much more expensive than his first, sadly.
Yeah. This should be the last ball. Drifting down the leg side, it's just clipped off his legs by Shorthouse, and they take a quick single. He retains the strike, and the score is 34 without loss.
Well, that was a super over for Shorthouse. It really was. They took a lot of runs from that, including that huge 6 into the tavern stand, and it's really put the RAF to the best start. 20 off Hodgson's 2 overs. Hill's going to come off after his first over, which went for 13. So Schofield will come on to bowl now. Left armour, as I recall from the first game.
Yep.
And the keeper's going to stand up to him, but he's not slow. And we need to keep the RAF in check here.
Yes, I'm rather surprised that the keeper is as close as he is. Because, as you say, Schofield is not a slow bowler. In he comes now from the nursery end, left arm over, and that's a strong appeal for leg before wicket. The umpire is not moved. That looked pretty close from where we're sitting.
I think there might have been a bit of bat involved there. Whether it came before or after, I don't know, but I certainly heard something.
Right.
Maybe what gave the umpire pause for thought.
It's good delivery though. In comes Schofield again. And that ball is played out onto the offside. Nicely picked up by the fielder at point. There is no run.
Yeah, sharp piece of fielding that. It's a short boundary. Not only did he stop the boundary, he stopped the single as well. So good work.
So the RAF already scoring at over 10 and over. And they're going well so far. In comes Schofield. That's a straight ball which is cut out into the offside, fielded on the boundary, the cover boundary there. 35 without loss. 5 fielders on the offside, 4 on the leg side. A short third fielder, extra cover, mid-off, and a fielder on the point boundary. And for the right-hander, that's the short boundary. And this next ball beats the batsman completely. Didn't know much about that at all. Straight through to the wicketkeeper, and there is no score.
I tried to run that down to third man and missed the ball completely. It's a quick ball.
A very good over so far from Schofield, this one. In he comes again. That ball is driven into the offside, hard into the offside, straight to extra cover. Again, no run. 1 ball remaining. And that ball is pushed out into the covers, where they consider a second, decide against it wisely, and 1 more goes onto the scoreboard. So the end of the 4th over is 36 on the board without loss for the RAF. It was a better over for the Army, that one.
It's a very good over, just 2 coming from it, and calm things down a little bit. Shorthouse still there on 25 and Diver on 5. And the RAF is trying to consolidate now, keep this ticking along. They're in a good position.
Yes, another change in bowling, it looks like. Hodgson, I thought. So Boynton it is who is coming in from the pavilion end for his first over of this innings. Sergeant J. Boynton. That ball is called a wide. Oh, leg by rather. It's a leg by. This next ball is a full toss, which is dispatched through extra cover, the wide extra cover boundary for 4 runs. Not a very good ball at all.
It's well put away though. Sometimes quite difficult to get those
Yeah.
full tosses safely away, and Smashed that. Kept it low. That's a good shot before.
In comes Boynton. That's wide outside the off stump, and the umpire calls it wide. We talked about this in the first match. This Boynton has this double flap before he actually delivers the ball. It's quite amusing to watch. Here he goes. 2 flaps and round he comes. That ball is in the air. It should be caught. Yes, he's caught it mid-off.
That one went very high. Seemed to be up there for a long time, but it's a crucial wicket with Shorthouse going. Just miscued it, skied it. Boynton will be pleased, happy to buy that wicket with the full toss delivery before. But that's a key moment.
It's a well-taken catch because, as you say, it was up there a long time, and a vital wicket because he was going very well. I think it was 29 off not very many deliveries at all. So 42 for 1 the RAF in response to the Army's 168. We're only in the 5th over. And the batsman coming in is Beals.
So yeah, one of these two now will have to take the lead and pushing the rate along. Diver's got 5 off 11 so far, so not flying along, but he can dig in now and keep the rate ticking along.
And Diver faced that ball from Boynton, played it out onto the offside. There was a very loud call from the opposite end saying no, a firm refusal. This next ball is driven out onto the offside and well fielded, a diving stop by the fielder in the covers.
Yeah, it was a nicely hit shot, that. It would have been 4. Very good stop.
42 for 1. And there's no run off that one. I thought they'd
So that was a rapid over from Boynton. 1 for 5 from it, 42 for 1. And let's see what happens to the run rate now. They're pretty much on target. See if they can keep going that way. Schofield's going to continue from the nursery end. He's going to bowl to the left-handed Beals. So the left-right combination now in for the RAF. And Schofield will have to be careful not to stray onto the leg stump here, because it's the short boundary for the left-hander. He's got 2 men out on that boundary. 1 at fine leg, 1 at mid-on, and 4 in the offside inside the ring. It's played forward in defence, out to the offside, and there's no run. So we haven't seen, with the RAF, this is their first game today, so we haven't seen them bat before in comparison to the Army. So we don't have much of an insight into where the power lies in the RAF batting lineup. That ball is driven hard, but only straight to the man. It's extra cover. There's no run.
Beals looks like a very useful player, doesn't he? All the shots, very correct method of playing.
Schofield again. Oh, just pops that up. It looked like a catch, but actually it was the bump ball shot taken by Schofield. And there's no run. 42 for 1. Crowd have gone a bit quiet on us. There's still plenty of people here. Schofield comes in again. That one is turned round the corner nicely by Beals. He'll get a single there to the man out the square leg. Got a good arm. Threw that in rapidly to the keeper. That brings Diver onto strike, the right-handed Diver. And little breeze coming across the ground now to cool things down a bit. That's a full toss that Schofield walks into and doesn't manage to get away, and he goes to the man at square leg. Sorry, not Schofield, Diver is the batsman. Schofield's very economical, nearly 2 overs bowled for only 3 runs. He's doing a good job. That's hit out into the onside. It's a well pitched up ball, but again there's no runs. Good fielding. 2 overs for 3 runs from Schofield is outstanding.
Yes.
43 for 1 off 6 overs. Run rate is 7.2, required rate is 9.
So would you carry on with him from this end, or would you save him for the end now? Because in a way, when he's bowling this well, you may as well just strangle the batting.
Well, they often say that it's bowlers work well in pairs, don't they? And actually, Schofield can enable some wicket taking from the other end by holding down one end, maybe keep him going, because Boynton benefited from that in the last over. Let's see if Beales now feels the need to have a go at Boynton. He's going to come around the wicket to the left-handed Boynton. He's trying to set up his field on the offside, the short boundary. And he's got 1 man out sweeping, 3 in the circle, and then the leg side he's got a long on, deep mid-wicket, deep square leg, and a fine leg. Here he comes. That one sits into the offside by Beales, just a single taken there in a leisurely fashion. And it brings the right-handed Diver onto strike. Fielders move around a bit to readjust. 2 out on the boundary and the leg side to the right-hander. So, Diver, what's he going to do for us now? Down the wicket, smack, over the boundary for 6 into the Tavern stand. He was premeditated and hit that very well. One of the fielders now into the stand to try and find the ball, which he successfully retrieved. 50 for 1 the RAF off 38 balls, off 6.2 overs, run rate 7.9, pretty much where they need to be. Next ball from Boynton, Diver just defends. It was ended up yorking himself slightly as he came forward to that one, but digs it out successfully. Boynton rattles through these overs, not much of a run up, just got to get time to get his 2 flaps in on the way in to deliver the ball. That was left alone by Diver. Don't see that very often in a T20. I'm not sure it was deliberate, maybe he thought it was a wide. Anyhow, it's not. Dot ball. Boynton comes in again from the pavilion end. That was, oh, he's bowled him round his legs. Or was that a stumping? Let's have a look. It was hard to see from up here because we've got it was.
I think it was bowled.
Let's see, we can't see because we have the wicket keeper in the way. Let's have a look what the scorers thought. Bowled. It was bowled. It bowled him around his leg. He tried to go down and hit it through the leg side and just missed it. And I think if he hadn't been bowled, he would have been stumped because he was falling forward too.
Clever delivery.
Yeah, nice piece of bowling there from Boynton. He's got both wickets, and the stranglehold being exerted at the other end is possibly helping him there. 50 for 2. Someone's got to take charge of the RAF innings in the absence of Shawhouse and pile on the runs. Put them all together. So Adam Sutcliffe coming into bat now, number 4. Boynton's got 1 ball left in his over. 2 for 12 off 2 overs. Schofield none for 3 off 2 overs. Schofield's got to get some credit for these wickets, I would think, for doing such a terrific job at the other end. Right, it's the right-handed Sutcliffe. The field spreads again, and Boynton considers the last delivery of his second over. Here he comes. Just played into the onside, that straight to the field, and there's no run. 7 overs down, 50 for 2. Beales 2 not out, Sutcliffe yet to score.
Well, Adam Sutcliffe, who's just come in to bat, Corporal Adam Sutcliffe, based at RF Bryce Norton. He can bat a bit. 3 league hundreds in 2017. And his aspiration is to actually hit a match-winning T20 innings, so this could be his day.
This could be the moment. This could be the moment. Well, Hill's coming back on to bowl from the nursery end. You recall his first over went for 13, and he opened the bowling. And he's going to be bowling first to the left-handed Beals. So that means the short boundaries on the leg side to the left-hander. So he'll need to be careful not to drift down that way, because Beals will be looking to go large against the spin into that side of the ground. Okay, here comes Hill, coming around the wicket, giving some air, driven along the ground. They've taken the first quickly, they're thinking about second, but the man long off comes in, gathers the ball, and they take just the one, 51 for 2. Sutcliffe comes on to strike. Now, there's a little delay here. What's going on? There's a bit of field rearrangement. Had a discussion with the captain. Dropping of the cap. It's getting late in the day. I think, of course, these Army guys have played one game already. So, had a busy day, but highly motivated to win. Right.
I think there's a bit of a discussion between captain and bowlers to they each want different things.
Okay, so it's quite a substantial change in the field. We're going to end up with 3 inside the ring on the offside, 2 outside the ring, and 2 and 2 on the leg side. 3 outside the ring on the offside. Here comes Hill. Short of a length drip, just played back down the pitch defensively to the bowler. He's moving the fielders again. And here he comes. He's drifted onto leg stump. Low full toss, he gets hit up to mid-on for a single. And score takes him on to 52 for 2, Beale 3. Sutcliffe 1.
He's got a lot more control in this over, Hill.
Indeed. So Beals facing this one. He's tried to hit that over the short leg side boundary. Didn't quite get hold of it. It's gone out to square leg, and they'll take a single. 53 for 2. Hill. A couple of balls left in this over. It's much more economical than the first. That one has been hit firmly out into the offside, but again only as far as the sweeper on the boundary. Single taken. 4 off the over so far, 54 for 2. That last ball of the over is hit out. Oh, down to third man. They have to hurry, going for a single here, but they'll make it. Squeak, rather came off the side of the bat, the edge of the bat down to third man. That's the end of the 8th over, 55 for 2. Run rate is 7. Required rate 9.5.
Yes, I think that that was a much better over by Hill. 4 off it, and great faith in him by the captain, because the temptation would have been after that first over to leave him out, but he brought him back and he delivered.
Indeed, and the captain Boynton is going to continue from the pavilion end, bowling to the left-handed Beals. Boynton is coming now. He's got 2 for 12 with his first 2 overs. That one is short of a length, cut out into the offside, but they won't take a run there. 55 for 2. And 2 men out, or 1 man out on the offside boundary for Boynton, 3 on the leg side boundary. So defending, bowling to a leg side field. Oh, he's got him, he's appealing for something.
Yes, given.
I think he might be caught behind. Boynton is struck again. Beals. Now, I think it was caught behind. Sharp catch, yes, sharp catch by the keeper. He's done really, really well standing up. Really impressive. And that spells trouble for the RAF.
That's a very important wicket, isn't it, at this stage? They're already 3 runs per over behind the target. on the run rate. So yeah, vital wicket.
55 for 3, and no one's really got going since Shorthouse got himself out, and they're in a bit of trouble now, you would have to say. Watson's coming in, Sutcliffe is there on 2 not out. Boynton is taking wickets for fun, 1 and over at the moment. 3 for 12 off 2.2 overs. And the RAF looking in a bit of trouble here. Okay, so Boynton is going to bowl now to the left-handed Watson. And crowd are pretty quiet. Quite a few members in the pavilion. Right, here comes Boynton. Turn around the corner on the leg side. They're not going to take a run. Would have been a wide if he hadn't got something on that. It's 55 for 3. And this ball is a quicker ball from Boynton. It's played defensively by Watson. And there's no run. And this is the challenge. When you lose a wicket, you lose momentum. People have got to get themselves back in again.
Yes, and that takes some time, doesn't it?
That one's out onto the onside. They're going to get a single this time. The bowler's chasing after his own, runs off his own bowling, but get one. Not a problem. Boynton's figures are still a very impressive 3 for 13. 1 ball left in this over. The right-handed Sutcliffe will be facing now, so a little bit of field rearrangement to accommodate that change. Here comes Boynton. And from the pavilion end, that's a quicker one on the leg stump. There's a shout for LBW. He's been given. Goodness me. Gosh. Boynton is having a day. 4 for 13 off 3 overs. And Sutcliffe is pretty unhappy. He's whacked himself in the pads. He may have felt he was on the front foot there, but the umpire didn't take long to give that.
No. Wicketkeeper was very confident in his appeal.
So 56 for 4 and 9 overs in. It's a good time, I think, Avinash, for us to do a double change in the commentary box here.
Absolutely.
And leave Nick and Alan to talk you through the last 11 overs. And the RAF will be hoping that they bring a bit more luck than we have to their batting attack so far.
Well, what a turnaround.
Yes, indeed, Nick. It's astonishing at 41 for no wicket. It's going at 10 runs and over, and here we are 5 overs later, 56 for 4. The Army fighting back very well, and no one foresaw that Boynton would be 4 for 13 off 3 overs. But it's Hill resuming from the nursery end, and he's bowling a wideish delivery outside the off stump to Watson, who doesn't make any real attempt to play it. But it's not given a wide, no run. We're at the start of the 10th over of the RF reply. That one is given a wide, again outside the off stump. 57 for 4. The RAF are chasing a target of 169 runs to win this match, as the next ball of the over again goes down the offside, but nearer to the stumps this time, and no action from the umpire. Hill getting through his over very quickly. Balls again, and that one is an attempt to play it by Watson, but he isn't successful. Keeper picks it up, back to the bowler. Turns, hesitates slightly, but now comes in again. Bowls to Watson. That one, Watson turns round the corner. There's just going to be a single there. So it's picked up by the man at short third man. 1 run. 58 for 4. And now Chapman will face his first ball. Right-handed Chapman. So again we have a left-hand, right-hand combination, which could be to the advantage of the batting side. We shall see. Chapman does a little bit of gardening before facing his first ball and stops Hill in his run-up. But he now comes in, bowls. It's only going down to the leg stump, and it's turned for a single into the mid-wicket area by Chapman to get off the mark of his first ball. 1 run, 59 for 4. Required rate is already up at 10.8 runs and over. Quite a challenge, as that one is outside the off stump, and it's attempted cut by Watson, but he isn't successful in getting it through the field. So a dot ball, good over from Hill.
Very good over, just what the 1 run and the 1 wide, wasn't it? So yeah, very tight stuff. Real stranglehold being exerted right now. It's interesting because we thought Hodgson was potentially the danger man. We'd certainly seen him bowl so well in the Navy earlier in the day, and of course what we've really seen is these slow bowlers, Boynton in particular, wreaking the damage. But just in general, this last 5-6 overs, real stranglehold being exerted by the Army, and these two players still need to play themselves in. They can't be reckless, but the run rate is 11 and over.
It is. This is the start of Boynton's last over, and that one is hit very effectively indeed by Chapman for 6. No danger of that being caught on the boundary. It goes into the tavern stand, where there are a number of spectators who retrieve the ball very quickly, and it's back to the bowler. Yes, it's remarkable that it was something like 40 for no wicket after 4 overs, and then the next 6 just went for 19. And Chapman, who has now scored off each of his first 3 balls, one of which was a 6, plays that one down to long on, and there's another single to the total. 66 for 4. Chapman on 8, and Watson, who's faced 8 deliveries, has made 2. Boynton now comes in again, bowls to Watson, who pushes that out on the offside. There's a sharpish single taken, but Chapman was more ready and willing to go, and he got home without any trouble.
It was a well-judged single, that, actually, because they realised it was Hill, who's perhaps not the quickest of fielders. I think to a younger man, they might well have not run the single then.
Yuri Hill, I'm sure, would not be too happy with that description, but well, yes, he has played in this fixture, or this tournament rather, for a number of years.
Well, he's served for 19 years. I mean, I think
really?
That's
Right.
Yes,
yes. Well, there we are. Tremendous.
Not this fixture, but it served in the Army.
So Boynton bowls again, and that one is an attempted hoik by Chapman, but he doesn't make contact with that. Yes, if he's served for 19 years, I suppose that puts him at late 30s or so.
I would think so, yes. if he joined it when he was 18.
Absolutely. Right, Chapman faces up again, and that one is hit. Oh, a nice shot. Did not much elevation, but absolutely bisected the 2 leg side fielders towards the boundary, and well, a joy. So Boynton's figures rather dented by that over, which went for 14 runs, and Chapman breathing some life into this chase. He's made 14 off 8, and the score is 73 for 4 off 11 overs.
But we just saw that was the Boynton figures. I think 4 overs, 4 wickets for 27. Is that right?
Yes.
So he really has done.
But, still tremendous figures, aren't they?
Fantastic figures, aren't they? Yeah.
So it's Hill who's bowling his last over now. He's bowled 3 overs now for 21. That one is didn't quite go where Watson was intending. He was hoping to hit that a bit straighter, I think, and it just goes out into the deep extra cover area, deep cover area for 1 run. So that last over has certainly been a good over for the RAF. It's now 74 for 4. And a sweep, an attempted sweep there by Chapman. Doesn't make any contact. Keeper comes round from behind the stumps. Reed's had a good day, and takes the ball and returns it to Yuri Hill, who's sending the deep mid-wicket out to become a deep mid-wicket on the boundary. So we've got 2 leg side boundary riders. As that one is played back to the bowler by Chapman. Chapman 14, 8 balls, Watson 4 off 10. And that one's right up in the air.
He's out.
It is. Well taken by the long fielder running in.
Barley running in.
Yes, good catch indeed, and a vital catch in the context of this match. Chapman was looking a little bit dangerous. Caught Barley, bowled Hill for 14. First wicket for Hill. And yeah, just when a partnership might have been developing, a wicket goes. That's always the risk when you're chasing this sort of target with overs running out.
Yeah, I'm not sure he quite got that right on a number of levels, Chapman. He clearly done terrifically well in the last over. He had a couple of 6s off Boynton. But on that particular one, it was a very, very long boundary he was going to be going for. And so I think strategically, he was very important to this run chase. And just to keep the pressure and keep the RAF in the game. It does feel like a real uphill struggle now with 74 for 5, what the required rate of 11.4. And batsman number 7 in.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see how Watson plays now that he's lost Chapman. He drives that one out on the offside, but it's very well fielded in the covers, and there's no chance of a run there. 1 ball left in the 12th over. Hill, this is the final delivery of his spell. Watson turns that one on the leg side, down to deep square leg, and they run an easy single, so Watson retains the strike. Well, that wicket has come at a crucial time. Hill finishes with 1 for 23 off his 4 overs, which are very good figures indeed. And they need another 94 runs in the last 8 overs, which is getting very close to 12 runs and over, isn't it? That's a big target.
It does feel like a big target, doesn't it? Particularly bearing in mind the quality of this Army attack.
Yep.
And but you still have got that short boundary. But it's the key, particularly with the shorter bowlers, is you do have to be very judicious in your shot selection. And so the shorter boundary, you can go for it a bit more, but the longer boundary, you really need to pick the ball.
There's a change of bowling here, and that one is hit out on the offside, and they'll get a single there. The new bowler is Narayan. This might be an opportunity. There's Watson on strike then, who goes to 6 with that single, and it'll be Harrison, the new batsman, to face his first ball. Narayan just a few steps to come in. There's a loud appeal there for leg before. The umpire not moved, and he signals a leg by. 77 for 5.
Can't have been far away, that.
No, it looked pretty good, didn't
it? It looked pretty good, possibly just a bit high, but...
Yeah, I can't really tell, but didn't seem to be a great deal wrong with it. So it's now bowling to the left-handed Watson, who drives nicely there, but straight to the fielder at mid-off. No run. 77 for 5. That one is on the leg side, a reverse sweep down there, and 1 run. But these singles won't be enough for the RAF. They really need to find the boundary. Once or twice and over, probably twice and over. Single there to Harrison. 79 for 5. Ryan will be pleased with this over so far. Just gone for 3 runs off the first 5 balls. The stranglehold is getting tighter.
Bolder.
Nice ball, nice ball. A little bit of flight there, and Watson is bowled. With his departure, probably the hopes of the RAF disappear as well, I fear. 79 for 6 with just 7 overs left. It does look a rather forlorn chase.
Yeah, it does really feel that the wheels have come off this RAF chase pretty dramatically now. As when we came on commentary, we were talking about the 41 for no loss, and at that point, just felt that everything was going right for the RAF, and particularly the way they dealt with Hodgson. And you know, we talked about strategically with Hodgson for his 4 overs. If Hodgson ended up with figures of 1 for 16, that felt okay on the basis you would score elsewhere. But you know, Boynton's 4 wickets ripping through that top order. Now Chapman being caught, Barley bowled Hill, and then that bowled Watson being bowled. This feels like a very, very tall order.
And it shows us the depth of bowling that the Army possess, because after particularly Tom Shorthouse's assault on Hodgson at the start of the innings, we thought that the RAF could mount a very credible assault on the Army total, but it was not to be. But there's again a change of bowling. Hill having finished his spell, and Dearden is coming on at the nursery end. He'll be bowling to Harrison, who's on 1. Patel is the new batsman, who of course hasn't faced yet. And that's the end of Harrison. Clean bowled with Dearden's first delivery. And you can't really argue with that. He just pushed forward at it, and the bails are off. And the innings is collapsing in some very rapid dismissals. So I fear we may not be detained a great deal longer. But of course, the RAF will want respectability from this match, and they'd certainly like to get up to 100 if they possibly can. But number 9 will be the new batsman, Pearce.
The challenge we now for the RAF, they've got number 8 and 9 at the stumps. It's not as though that they've got a number 9 in, but they've got a number 3 or 4. Yep. And so you have to look at that and say, with a required run rate of now 13, above 13 and over, and with these 2 batsmen in, this is probably more about respectability and these players just enjoying playing in the sunshine at Lords.
Would you love to bat at Lords in the evening sunshine for half a dozen overs? Neither batsman has faced as yet. In fact, it's Hawke, not Pearce, who's come in at number 9. As he goes forward to that one, makes no contact, and it goes through to the keeper. So Dearden, successful bowler, slow left arm, bowls again to Hawke, who pushes that one out on the offside. I think if it was me, I would realise there was absolutely no chance of winning this match, and I would just enjoy the possibility of batting in these conditions. Hopefully get a boundary or 2, but anything else might be over-ambitious. But that one's played very nicely indeed by Hawke. It's well fielded by the long off running round the boundary, and they get back for 2 runs. We've still got 2 overs of Hodgson, of course, who we thought would be the danger man in the Army attack. Dearden bowls again. That one beats Hawke's forward stroke, goes through to the keeper. 81 for 7. 1 ball left in this over. Dearden 6 or 7 paces in, bowls, and that's hit straight back to the bowler. So a very successful over for Dearden, just 2 runs off it and the wicket. 81 for 7 off 14 overs now.
Yeah, the required rate is just shy of 15 and over, and unfortunately that will just keep climbing and climbing now. So as you say, this is probably about these players enjoying themselves more than anything else, and equally well the Army bowlers enjoying themselves as well.
Yes, indeed. It's an opportunity for one of the Army bowlers to get 3 wickets or even 4 wickets, let's say, as It's Hawke this time. No, it's Patel, sorry. Patel, who launches a fairly ambitious slog sweep shot at that ball from Narayan.
I think that was his first delivery.
It was. So he do that time. Please hit that one back to the bowler. But certainly signs that he's not going to go down limply without a struggle. Narayan. And that one again. He tries to hit out on the leg side, but fails to make any contact. Perhaps the straight hit is the better idea. Ryan getting through this over extremely quickly, and he's hit that up in the air. It's over the head of the mid-wicket fielder and goes out for a single down towards the tavern boundary there. One more run. Patel off the mark, 82 for 7.
Nothing wrong with that shot.
No,
particularly for number 8.
Ryan bowls like a quicker delivery there. It's played out on the offside, and there's a single into the covers. These singles, while attractively made, are not going to be enough for the RAF. 83 for 7. Ryan, that one is a much more aggressive shot, and it again bisects the two fielders. Lovely clean hit there from Patel, who is showing intent.
Terrific shot. Great shot.
I like the approach.
Picked it up. It was probably middle and leg.
Yep.
And just picked it up and planted it. Bisected the fields perfectly. Away for 4 into the tavern stand.
Very well placed.
But despite that little bit of heroics, the run rate up to 16, or the required rate is up above 16, and this does feel...
You don't really see sides with 3 wickets left scoring at that rate for 5 overs, do you?
No, so the real question is just...
It's another boundary for Hawke. So, well, 100 maybe is the first target, and then they'll say, well, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Let's give them some encouragement. It's Dearden bowling, of course, from this nursery end. Hawke goes on to 7 with that shot. Slow left arm, and that one's chopped out on the offside. They're going to run an easy single. So a nice little partnership developing. They put on 13 in a couple of overs. This next one from Dearden is hit out on the leg side, straight to the fieldsman at mid-wicket, who throws at the stumps but doesn't hit it. It's taken by the bowler. 1 run, 93 for 7. Patel on to 6. And that one...
It's going to be out. It's going to be out.
Oh, well done. He caught that one. He caught that one-handed. That was a splendid catch.
It was Fletcher, the opening batsman.
Yes.
It was a terrific catch. He'd misjudged it.
That's right.
And come in a bit, and he suddenly realised it was actually going over his head. And so he reached up with his right hand and just plucked it out of the air. Pretty nonchalantly, actually.
Now that is something you don't see very often.
You don't see that very often at all.
I think that's remarkable. And he somehow managed to cling on to it. So, splendid moment there for Fletcher. And, well, unlucky for Hawke, who'd showed good intent since he came in.
Well, his little tiny little cameo knock of
that's right.
came to an end.
Yes. An entertaining 8. So that makes the score 93 for 8. Dearden has 2 for 8 in his second over. There are 2 balls left at the 16th over, and there'll be 4 overs to come after this. It'll bring Patel back onto strike with the new batsman Pearce. The field scattering far and wide for the 5 men on the boundary. Patel drives that nicely out to long off. They take 1 run. 94 for for 8. Seems a bit more wind now. The flags are fluttering a bit more than they were earlier on. But, just like a light cloud, but beautiful evening here at Lord's as the shadows lengthen. Dearden bowls now to Pearce, who steers that one very nicely away down the offside. It's not going to be a 4, running down towards the pavilion. They take a couple of runs, and that takes the score to 96 for 8 at the end of the 16th over. And Nick and I are now going to swap roles. We won't change chairs, but Nick will take over the commentary from me for the last 4 overs, and I shall take up the summarisers position.
So we are slightly administering the last rites to this game, but in the process I think we've just seen the tremendous array of talent that the Army does have, both in batting and bowling, and the depth of bowling attacks, particularly around the slower bowlers, and ultimately just proving to be too strong for the RAF. We do have 4 overs left, but the run rate is nearly up to 20. As this one is a peel for leg before from Narayan. He wraps Patel on the pads. It trickles out the offside, but the umpire is unmoved. I don't think it was far away, that one. And Narayan certainly injected a lot more pace into it. He's up to the stumps now. He bowls another one, and it's forced out into the leg side and fielded at deep square leg, so they come through for a single. 97 for 8. They're approaching the RAF 100. Pearce is the left-hander. He's just taking guard now. He's 2 not out. Just faced the 1 delivery so far. Just a change in the field, with Boynton just orchestrating his field a little bit for the left-hander. As he brings Barley up into the circle. Narayan comes through, and that one just beats Pearce outside the off stump as he tried to make room to cut it. So a dot ball, and the run rate is now above 20. And Narayan comes in, and there's Wilver caught behind, and he's gone.
Yep.
Pearce tried to make a bit of room, just got obviously a little tickle on it. Went through to Reed, who I must say I've been immensely impressed with his wicket keeping throughout. And Pearce disappears off to his disconsolate teammates. He's out for 2, and the score 97 for 9, with Burnett the last man in, as Burnett just finishes. You can see him now just making his way onto the pitch. He's just finishing, padding up.
John Burnett coming in, and that's a deserved wicket, I think, for Narayan, who, as you said in commentary, Nick, had a couple of good shouts for LBW earlier in his spell, and yes, I agree, Reed has been most impressive behind the stumps, standing up for the most part, and done a really good, sound, unobtrusive job, which is the mark of a very good keeper. And having a bit of banter there with one of his teammates. In fact, that's Fletcher, isn't it, who took that remarkable catch.
He did, that's right, yeah.
Something we don't see very often. A one-handed catch out in the deep. With the ball coming towards you, generally speaking, you do get both hands behind it, but he didn't quite judge it right, and there was only time to get the one hand behind it, but he clung on very, very well.
So Burnett is out in the middle. He's just taken guard. He's just stepped away to leg. He's now settling over his bat, ready to face Narayan, who comes in and bowls, and Burnett comes correctly forward, pushes it into the leg side, with Burnett. Narayan does the fielding off his own bowling. So this is the final delivery of Narayan's 3rd over, and the last ball of the 17th over, and Narayan comes in, and it just wraps, shortish delivery, just wraps Burnett on the hip, And that's the end of the over. So the score 97 for 9. This moment in time, you wouldn't expect this innings necessarily to go the distance. I mean, anticipate that there's a good chance that the Army will get their the final wicket. But good moment, just briefly, Alan, just to get your thoughts on man of the match in this.
Well, I think probably well, I suppose there's two candidates, aren't there? There's
Is Dearden coming in. This one is going to be runs. I think it's just dropped short of Fletcher down in front of us here at deep long off. It was almost a chip off a 5-iron, something like that. And they scampered back for 2. So Patel has reached double figures, one of the few RAF batsmen to have reached double figures. He's on 10 not out, and the score 99 for 9. And this will bring up the 100 run as he flat backs it down to long off, and they come through for a nice easy single. So that is the 100 up for the RAF, and I guess some kind of landmark
around the ground for that
in itself.
So I think the two candidates would be Carmichael for his 74, and he's the only batsman who's really gone on to make a big score. And then of course you've got
just interrupt, Alan. This is it's Dearden bowling, and that one has just come off a thick outside edge from Burnett, and they've got through for a single.
And then we had Boynton's spell with the ball, which after the RAF had got off to a very quick start of 40-odd for no wicket, he took 4 wickets at 27.
And there could be out here. No, again, it's a shot just dropped in front of Fletcher at long off. So again, and one more to the total, 102 for 9. And that brings Burnett back on strike. Burnett, the number 11 from the RAF. And he's just tucked up slightly, but he's managed to squirt it away. And it's Barley who comes in from long on and does the fielding. So the score 103 for 9. Patel is on strike. He's on 12 not out. As Dearden's in, he bowls flat, and this one is in the air, and he is going to be caught. No, he's dropped it. It's Fletcher, having taken a fantastic catch before. He was running in, got there in reasonable time, and at about knee height, it just bounced out of his hands. So the RAF innings continues on, 104 for 9 at the end of the 18th over. And Dearden, who's bowled very well, has taken 3 overs for 2 for 18. And it'll be interesting to see who does.
These two.
Boynton is going to continue with Narayan. Of course, had a slightly disappointing day with the bat in both the Navy and the RAF innings. But
6 overs, 4 for 28. These two have between them.
And so this first Narayan delivery is hit hard up the ground, and they're going to come back for 2 as the fielder from long off. It's Hodgson there does the fielding. So Patel is doing well. He's 15 off just 14 deliveries. And this one, it's gone high in the air. I think this is going to be out. It is indeed. Narayan catching Patel off his own bowling. A leading edge from Patel went high in the air, and a simple catch for Narayan, who just had to move a few steps to his right. So that is the end of the match. The Army have won by 62 runs and are the winners of the 2022 Inter-Services Tournament. A pretty comprehensive victory on both their parts. A win of 62 runs here and something similar earlier from the RAF. One way or another, combination of their batting, the likes of particularly Carmichael, but also we've seen some great knocks from Fletcher and Wiseman. And then just the depth of their bowling, just looking at the figures there, Hodgson not effective this time round, but hugely effective against the Navy. And then Boynton, Narayan and Dearden really doing the bulk of the damage. Boynton 4 overs, 4 for 27. Narayan 3.2 overs, 12, 3 wickets for 12. And Dearden 3 overs, 2 wickets for 18. The other wicket taker, Hill, 4 overs, 1 for 23. RAF all out for 106.
Yes, and look at the economy rates of those 4 bowlers. They're all going at 4 and over in some cases for Narayan, and 5, 6 and over for the others. And it's that, as you say, Nick, it's that depth of bowling that really has been the difference between the Army and the other sides we've seen today. But I think Carmichael's batting was a class apart, with support from the other batsmen, particularly Wiseman. Ultimately, if I was going for the man of match, I think I probably would go for Carmichael. I mustn't use that first match to influence it, but he did play very, very well in that first game as well. Certainly player of the tournament would be his, I think. But overall, you've got to say that the Army as a team have played incredibly well. They look a very, very strong side. They won the trophy last year. This year they've won it more convincingly than they did then. But we've enjoyed a fantastic day's cricket here today, I think. We've seen some high quality batting and bowling. The conditions have been absolutely ideal, perfect. The spectators have added to the enjoyment of the day with their very good participation and encouragement to the players. And it's really been an excellent day, and we're very glad that we've been back at Lord's for this Inter-Services Day, which is a really great occasion.
Has been a truly wonderful day. It really has, and we hope you, our listeners, whether you're in the ground or out of the ground, have enjoyed it as much as we have. I think it's time for us to sign off and wish, again, many congratulations to the Army, but thank you also to the RAF and Navy for providing such great entertainment. Thank you also to the MCC women and the Armed Forces women for a terrific game in the middle of the day. And well, safe trip home to everybody, and thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much indeed. We've enjoyed 9 hours of cricket. I hope you've enjoyed sitting through it with us, but we look forward to bringing you more cricket later on in the season.
Sorry, can you hear me? Sorry, can you hear me? I'm on Lewis's camera. Can you hear me? she needs me to talk about. Yeah, eventually. But maybe, yeah, I'll grab you.